Hi folks, how you doing today? Scott Cohen here. Just wanted to get some information to you regarding the midterm exam that's coming up. Okay, so one of your classmates asked if I could make the pre-tests available to practice with, and I did that. I'll show you. Another one of your classmates asked about a study guide, and I'll make that for you. I don't have it ready yet. I'll have it for you in a day or two. But I wanted to show you a couple of these things and then make a couple suggestions, show you a few tips about taking the midterm exam. Also, another thing to keep in mind, for the midterm exam, we had 3 modules. You can have one sheet of paper front and back for each one of the modules. Now, when you go to make those, these are your notes that you could use for the test. Okay, you're allowed to use them. Part of the reason you're being allowed to use them is because by putting the notes, by deciding what is going to go on that sheet, you're actually studying. You're making critical decisions about what to put on there, what not to put on there. Okay? So again, you can, by the way, it doesn't have to be one for each module. You could use them however you want, front and back. And by the way, just so that you know, can you type it, put it in little teeny font? Yeah, it'll be hard to read, but you can do that. Could you cut and paste stuff on it? Yeah, I don't care about that either. I can tell you that research shows that if you handwrite it, you remember the information better. Okay, they've done studies on it. Okay, so anyway, just wanted to talk about that first. Now let me show you the study tools that I put together. Okay, so we're going to go to Connect. Okay, all right, open up Connect here. All right, so I'm going to go over here to the student view. Okay, and what I want to show you here, there's 2 different things. Okay, the first thing is I'm going to come down here. Where is this guy? It should be here. Oh, it's not out here yet. Okay, so you can't see this one yet, but these are out here already. So if you take a look right here, let me move my picture. See these pre-test extra copies, no grade for exam review. Click here, and you can go through. You can do these as many times as you want. There's no grade attached to them. Okay. By the way, notice, okay, that to let you know, these are not linked to Canvas. So what that means is, in order to get to these, all you have to do is go to Connect, and then you'll be able to see these, obviously. Okay, but there is no direct link from Canvas to this. Okay. All right, I'm going to go back here to Instructor View, and I'm going to show you a little bit here so you'll see exactly what I mean. So here, I also wanted to show you, I haven't, see where it says unassigned? You see this practice test? Okay, I'm going to show you where that is as well on Canvas. So here's a practice test. Again, you could do this as many times as you want. Personally speaking, if it was me, that would be what I would use the most. The reason why is, I'm going to show you why in just a second. The reason why, notice here, your test is going to be 50 out of these 187 questions that I've selected. And I'm a very straight upfront person here. Edit assignment. Okay, so here you go. If you take a look, see where it says C1 qualitative, C1 quant. That's chapter 1, chapter 1. There's a pool of questions here, right? And notice there's 3 from each pool. And so the test is pretty equivalent. So you see, every time you do that test, you're going to see more and more questions and more practice. It'll be easier to work with. Okay? All right. And let me go back here. Okay, go home. The only other thing I wanted to show you here, you see how these say deployed? Deployed means you're going to be able to get to it directly from Canvas. Notice down here, it says not deployed. Okay, so that means you're going to have to come over. All right, so there you go. Let me go back over here. I'm going to go back over to our site. I'm going to go to the modules. So let me show you where, if you come down here to the midterm, just got to turn it on. Notice, here's that practice test. And again, you can do this practice test as many times as you want. And I just noticed this says July 28th, 2026. That's not going to be good. Let me fix this right now. That will be very, very, very not good. Nope. I guess I can't fix it right there. I'm going to have to fix it here. Okay. Don't ask me how I managed to put 2026 on there. I have no idea. Continue. Nope. How about 2025? 28th. There we go. All right. So anyway, fix that. Okay. Let me go back over here. So anyway, I just want to show you those few items. Okay, so don't forget, you have the pre-test you can use. You have the practice test that I made. Okay, you can have 3 pages of notes front and back. Okay, so far so good. Now I want to show you a little bit about taking tests. The first thing, let me show you something here. I got a sheet of paper here. All right, so this, by the way, this is a question that actually came from one of the pre-tests. Okay. So let's take a look at the question. It says the following account balances are taken as of December 31st, 2023, the financial statements of this company. Company uses accrual basis of accounting. So notice they give you all of this information right here. Then they tell you about activities, okay, that take place in 2024. Then they come down here. Notice this thing I highlighted in yellow. It says, what is the amount of revenue on the income statement for the year ended December 31st, 2024? This is what's known as the call of the question. The call of the question is, what exactly are they asking you? Okay? So the way I've taught CPA review a number of times, the way we teach students to look at, to go right to the bottom of the question and see what is the call. This right here, this is the call of the question. Okay? This is what they're asking about. Revenue, income statement 2024. The reason why you do that, then when you go up here to read through this information, you know what's important and what's not. Well, first of all of these are balances taken from December 31st, 2023. Has nothing to do with 2024. All of this is just old material, okay? Old information. Notice it's distractor information. And I can tell you when I was a student, I'm like, why do they put all this crap in here that you don't need? Well, the reason why is in real life, you get information, but it's not filtered for you, okay? So part of knowing how well you know something is, can you decide what's needed and what's not? So distractor information is annoying, but if you know to read the question first, you know that this is all garbage, okay? Not needed for this question. Now they give you the activities. Let's run through the activities real quick, okay? Performed advertising services on account, $55,000. Well, that's revenue. It doesn't matter if it's on account or not. If they've done the services and they've earned it, it counts. So far we got $55,000, right? Received cash payments of $10,400. That's not revenue. They've already counted that. That was an account receivable that's already been counted as revenue, and they're just getting payment. Number 3, they're getting a deposit for work in 2025. That's not revenue for 2024. As a matter of fact, it's a liability. It's called deferred revenue or unearned revenue, meaning you've got money, but you haven't earned it yet. Next, they make a payment to suppliers on account for $5,000. That has nothing to do with revenue. And then they give you some more information about bills they pay, number 5. So what was revenue here? Only one item, the first one. So the correct answer to this is $55,000. Now, by the way, when you go to answer these questions, and I'm going to show you on another one, but be careful. You see letter A, for most computerized tests, you got to remember, every time this test is done, they are collecting tons and tons and tons and tons of data. They know what the most common wrong answer is. So what the people that make these tests do is they normally put the most common incorrect answer in spot A, right here, in spot A. Okay, so that doesn't mean A is necessarily wrong, but I can tell you, if you are guessing, and it is a computerized based exam, and you're just guessing, you have no idea, do not pick A, okay? We teach that in CPA review as well. And by the way, in this case, notice this is the right answer. How did they get $57,500? You see this 2,500 bucks here that they received payments for advertising services? Somebody wasn't paying attention, they would have had this with this, and they would have gotten this answer. Okay? So remember, if you're picking A, be sure that it's A. Don't use A as a guess. Okay? All right. One last item I want to show you, and I'm going to go back over here to I'm going to go over to the test real quick. Practice test. Okay. All right, let me go. Let's see, pretest. Just want to show you one other thing about how to read these questions. Okay. Now, we're just going to take a look at a question here. Let me find that preview. All right, I guess we could use this one. Let's see. All right. So, when you're faced with a multiple choice question, here's what you should do. Once you've found that call of the question and you've done your work, if you've calculations or not, now you've got to go look at the answers, because in multiple choice they give you the answers. Now what I'm going to suggest to you, and again we taught this in CPA review, is to read from the bottom up. Okay? And so in other words, you go down to the bottom answer, read this, then read this, then read this, and then read A. Now here's the reason why. On these tests, when you were probably in elementary school, they tell you pick the right answer. Well, they got cute about that. Now they tell you to pick the best answer. Okay, pick the best answer. What that means is it's potentially that there could be more than one answer, one right answer. You need to pick the best one. Okay, and that's especially true on qualitative questions. Okay, so let me give you an example, and this is what I tell students in class. All right, let's say I ask you, how did you get to work today? And you say a car. And then I tell you, okay, what kind of car? And you say a Honda. And I go, okay, what kind of Honda? And you say Accord. And then I go, okay, what color was the Honda Accord? And you go blue. And now the question is, how did you get to work today? This is a question on the test. And your answers are A, a car or an auto. B, a Honda. C, a Honda Accord. Or D, a blue Honda Accord. Well, in that case, a blue Honda Accord would be the best answer. Okay, so keep in mind, start down here. Okay, start down and work your way up. Work your way up. Okay, just a tip about taking tests. Anyway, folks, that's about it. Be on the lookout for that study guide. I'll try to go through, give you some good ideas. Your best thing, this midterm test, practice it a few times. Believe me, if you do, by the way, if you do this, you're going through the practice test, and you're like, yeah, I got it, you're probably going to be just fine. If you do this practice test and you go, uh-oh, I don't know this, I don't know that, then you need more practice. And keep in mind on those sheets of paper, if there's something you have particular difficulty with understanding, put it down in those notes on those sheets of paper. If it's like how to calculate depreciation, you could write a little problem out real quick and you'd have a kind of a map to go by. All right, folks, that's about it for now. Got any questions or concerns? Feel free to be in touch.